First tonight on Our News Weekend, one is gone. Could we see more to come? Tonight, a former prime minister is calling for additional resignations and a commission of inquiry. Plus, ORG is calling on the Bahamian public to make a difference. The executive director says this historic week could be a wake-up call for the country. And then a major boost for the orange economy over in Grand Bahama. Our Italia Hall has the details on the GBPA's Mosaic Art Gallery. These stories and more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. Following Wednesday's uproar over the resignation of the police commissioner and the appointment of the first female commissioner, one former prime minister says he believes more action is needed. Berthany McDermott, who has been following this, tells us that prime minister is calling for additional resignations and a commission of inquiry.
Former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis believes the resignation of Police Commissioner Clayton Fernando should not be the end of it. Under the Minnis administration, Fernando, along with Deputy Commissioner Limon Delaveau and others, were placed on administrative leave and later reassigned. Speaking candidly with reporters this week, Dr. Minnis called for more resignations to follow.
I think now the public would see and the Prime Minister would know he has all the record as to exactly why I had removed individuals like the Commissioner of Police and several others. I think the onus now on the Prime Minister that the Commissioner of Police have resigned. The Deputy should likewise resign, and the Prime Minister should now, it's time for him to get a new Minister of National Security. Monroe should resign also. There should be a clean slate.
And as our news understands, Deputy Commissioner Delaveau is set to retire soon. Dr. Minnis emphasized the need for a commission of inquiry. On Wednesday, government introduced an independent commission of investigations bill aimed at enhancing oversight and accountability for all law enforcement agencies. The bill follows a U.S. indictment that names Chief Superintendent of Police Elvis Curtis, formerly in charge of the Airport Division, Sergeant Prince Simonet, who worked under Curtis, and RBDF Chief Petty Officer Darren Roca as conspirators. They are among 11 Bahamians allegedly involved in facilitating the transshipment of tons of cocaine from South America through the Bahamas to the U.S. Curtis and Simonet have since been discharged from the police force. As for the indictment, Dr. Minnis questioned why the Prime Minister was not informed of the investigation by the Americans.
Obviously, if they had not been informed like I was, then it means that the United States does not trust them. It's simple logic. They were not informed, meant that they were not trusted, or they're not telling us the truth. They were informed and they don't want to say anything, or they themselves are part of the investigation, or some close relatives, close friend, family member are a part of the investigation.
Wednesday's parliamentary session descended into chaos after St. Barnabas MP Shannon Don Cartwright threw the mace out of the House of Assembly's window, leading to the forcible removal of opposition members by law enforcement officers. The uproar followed an earlier protest in Rawson Square, but notably absent from it all was Dr. Minnis. We asked him why.
I was preparing my brief, my debate, and I was subsequently en route coming here to Parliament when I heard about all the commotion occurring. But we were en route coming.
You call the commotion. Do you stand in support of what the FN did this morning up to this point?
Yes, they're fighting for democracy.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Well, meantime, Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard has issued a scathing critique of the government, accusing them of political bias and inefficiency, while promising to continue advancing the party's vision for the nation. The FNM leader claimed the government has been unwilling to work collaboratively since coming into office, despite the FNM's attempts to be more than reasonable in their approach.
The persons at home being paid by the public, they brought back an inordinate amount of senior retired public servants within as a line staff, meaning in charge of ministries where there were so many other persons who were hoping for promotions. Then they've brought in consultants, more than $175 million worth. And we don't have a problem with Bahamians being given an opportunity, but we would like to see the return on the investment.
Pintard has vowed to hold the government accountable.
We'll continue to share our vision for the way forward. We've been putting out a series of policy positions where we stand on legislation. We'll continue to do that. But in the process, we will hold this government feet to the fire. We have been more than reasonable. In the months that we came into government, we sought to be collaborative with the government to get as much work done. And then it turns out that they have zero interest in that kind of collegiality. Instead, they have savaged many F&M supporters, fired them from urban renewal, social services in general, cancelled contracts, some recently given through the proper mechanisms.
Now, following that protest in Rawson Square on Wednesday, the parliamentary session abruptly ended in chaos after a heated back and forth between the opposition, the House Speaker, and members of government led St. Barnabas MP Shannon Don Cartwright to throw the mace out of the window. Cartwright was removed from the House, but he and his colleagues did not go willingly. Law enforcement officers physically removed those members. Hours later, the communications director in the office of the Prime Minister, Latrey Ramming, speaking out against the Free National Movement's actions.
We see the opposition as valuable stakeholders in our democracy. Of course, they had their own plan this morning. Obviously, protest is about our democracy, but the disruption of Parliament, particularly at a time when the world is watching, I think was highly unacceptable.
Now, Prime Minister Philip Davis announcing in Parliament the resignation of Police Commissioner Clayton Fernander. Assistant Commissioner of Police Shanta Knowles has been selected to be the first woman to lead the organization. In Parliament, government introduced an independent commission of investigations bill. The bill seeks to enhance the oversight and accountability of all law enforcement agencies. Ramming said the PM was saddened by their actions, adding that he believes the actions had no impact.
I think that the public wants the politicians to come together, members of Parliament to come together and deal with their issues of concern. They have a challenge with trust in their institutions. They want a police force that could work. They want a police force that they could trust. And I think that that's what they were expecting, the pathway towards restoring that trust. And I think that they were expecting the opposition to be partners in that. And we want the opposition to be partners in that.
Now, earlier this week, we heard from the Organization for Responsible Governance on the recent police dismissals. Now, our Marlena Leonard sits down with their executive director as he shares his thoughts on whether or not this moment in our history will serve as a wake-up call and why you're needed to make change.
We don't want this to be seen as an example of, hey, let's sit back and see what happens in the House. We want folks to realize that they have a role, they have a voice, and they have ideas and thoughts that are really important to be able to address and deal with the issues of corruption and fostering integrity and governance. So our call now is to utilize your efforts and your resources towards something productive.
That's Matt Aubrey, Executive Director of the Organization for Responsible Governance. He's also weighing in on the recently tabled Independent Commission of Investigations bill, which aims to address issues and allegations of corruption against security forces.
We're also calling on those citizens to make it a priority to go and look at the bill, to understand it, and in looking at it, make sure that it meets the needs you think are going to address the circumstances in your community.
He also points to existing anti-corruption frameworks in place, but says they'll need public participation to be effective.
So we have things like freedom of information and the ombudsman and the procurement laws. We've talked about things like effective election finance laws. We've talked about revising the public disclosures laws. So all of these are key opportunities that still require a focus and prioritization. They require funding. And more importantly, they require the input and the awareness of our public.
Aubrey reminding the public not to wait for things to become a priority, saying there's power in the public will to create political will.
Politicians will make it a priority when the citizens make it a priority. We offer tools and resources. Our Policy Review Center that's online at ournews.bs offers bills. The most recent table bill will be there, and resources so that not only can you understand the kind of policies that are being proposed, but you also even have an opportunity to have your input accounted for and passed on to government. So we 100% encourage folks to utilize their inherent power and utilize their voices and help us to get informed and get involved and make a real positive, sustainable change at this time.
His main takeaway?
Paying attention to the headlines and what happens the day-to-day is really important, but taking away from it, how can we utilize that to make sure that we don't see those headlines again is probably even more important.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thanks so much for that, Marlena. Well, when Our News Weekend comes back from the break, over 45 artists on Grand Bahama have a new center to call home, thanks to a recent initiative by the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Plus, a non-profit organization rallies the community together to keep Grand Bahama clean. We've got the details when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Grand Bahama's orange economy continues to grow, with the Grand Bahama Port Authority recently opening the Mosaic Art Gallery on East Sunrise Highway. The gallery is a space for art enthusiasts to enjoy and for local artists to showcase their talents. Our Italia Hall has more on this story.
The Grand Bahama Port Authority recently unveiled its Mosaic Art Gallery, a vibrant new hub for Art Lakaya and the Grand Bahama Artists Association. Located on East Sunrise Highway, the center provides a platform for creativity and cultural expression. The building has a rich history, originally a synagogue and later the home of the Grand Bahama Youth Choir. However, it suffered extensive damage during Hurricanes Matthew and Dorian. Following a major renovation by the GBPA, the space has been transformed into a modern venue for showcasing local art. Chairman at the GBPA, Sarah St. George, expressed optimism that the local art scene will inspire unique, locally made products that showcase Grand Bahama's talent.
So I'm very, very proud the Grand Bahama Port Authority is playing such an active role in Grand Bahamas. I think we can call it art renaissance. In having lost so much in the 2 great hurricanes of 2016 and 2019, our artists re-emerged into the public eye stronger than ever.
Meanwhile, Fatima Zahra Kaboub, founder of Art Lukaya, acknowledging the challenges faced while getting the project off the ground, she also expressed her gratitude for the strong turnout.
It just shows how important it is for the artist community, and I think not just for the artist community, but just for the community as a whole, to have a space to go to, a place to share ideas.
Dr. Kevin Bethel, president of the Grand Bahama Artists Association, also sharing remarks.
We're here to celebrate a tremendous landmark. Very few artist associations, get to have a facility like this.
These Grand Bahamian artists sharing some of their work and say the space was needed.
We needed it for a long time, because we need a place to display our artwork.
We have so many artists. We have at least 45 or more artists here.
While these attendees say the work is amazing.
This is absolutely fantastic, unbelievable.
I am just appreciating the beautiful art and the quality of work that Bahamians are doing.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Italia Hall.
Beautiful space. Thanks so much, Italia. Well, as the Bahamas moves toward becoming a cleaner and greener nation, Litter Free Bahamas is doing its part to raise awareness about the importance of keeping Grand Bahama clean. The nonprofit organization has been actively engaging residents in efforts to create a litter-free environment. Most recently, the organization conducted a cleanup of local beaches in the Mactown area and extended their efforts into surrounding communities. About 10 volunteers extending a helping hand. Some sharing why this initiative is so important to them.
Helps to keep the environment clean. Look at now back here. We really don't have to do this because this is a business institute supposed to be keeping it clean, but we have so much encouragement from other persons around us, and we care about how the environment looks, so we're cleaning it up. And that's the reason why we care about the environment.
It really disheartens me to see the litter in the bushes, on the ground, on the beach, some place where you think people would obviously put it in the garbage. They just throw it about. They have no common courtesy about the environment and what it's doing to the environment. But today we all came out here to make a change in the environment. It's 100% better now. And now you see we're tackling on other projects as well.
Sandra Flowers, founder of Litter Free Bahamas, says her inspiration came after returning home and noticing the increasing amounts of trash around the island. She says she is determined to make a difference and shares plans to expand the organization to New Providence soon. She is also encouraging corporate Bahamas to support their efforts.
One of our goals is to really get a grabber truck, because once we pick up the small pieces of litter, we see that the piles, the mounds of garbage and trash, and then the derelict vehicles, because a derelict vehicle is considered litter, those detract from the beauty and the health of the environment. So we feel we need to invest in something like that so we can help remove all the mounds of trash that exist, because that's not a part of a beautiful environment.
Last weekend, Kelly's Freeport was full of customers hoping to get their holiday shopping done at a discounted price. Now, their HR and marketing manager, Lynn Freno, says the success the store saw over the weekend seems like an indication the island's economy is on the mend.
It's always the biggest sale of the year, and this year we even saw higher numbers. The customer count was way up, while the average transaction remained the same. I think it's such a positive indicator of how well Freeport is doing right now by just seeing hundreds more customers compared to last year shopping at our store. So the energy was way up. Customers are happy. Customers are excited. They're shopping and they're taking full advantage of shopping at home.
Well, still to come on Our News Weekend, the Nassau Cruise Port wants to be at the center of your holiday season. From shopping to fun for the whole family, we've got the details. But first,
coming up in sports, the hits keep coming for Team Bahamas at the Caribbean Baseball Cup, while Prince Strawn and his Boise State Broncos are headed to the college football playoff.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show.
On the weekend,
Team Bahamas completed the group stage undefeated at 3-0 and now headed to the semifinals tonight at the Under-15 Caribbean Baseball Cup. In a matchup with previously undefeated teams, the hosts won 11-8 over Cuba last night at the Andre Rogers National Stadium. Cuba took an early 5-0 lead after the top half of the first inning, but the Bahamas mounted an incredible 8-run rally in the third inning to take control for good. Liam Eneas got the win on the mound for Team Bahamas. Elvis Pardo struck out 2 of the 3 batters he faced in the 7th inning to get the save.
Well, when I was in the bullpen, I already knew that I was going to do a good job. I saw the intensity of the game. I gave my character, and I knew I have to finish good. I knew I have to come out of this game with a blast. So I did my best, and it was a very good game, very good game.
The third inning comeback was highlighted by Malik Israel's 2 RBI single to put the Bahamas ahead. Colton Cubbage went 4 for 4 with 2 RBI, Javan Smith was 1 for 3 with 2 RBI, and Jordan Archer went 3 for 5 with 2 RBI.
Our coaches told us to jump on the first pitch fastball. Ever since that, the first inning, we knew that we had to do that, and we got the job done today by hitting and doing our part. We had to get it back from March when we went to the Dominican Republic to play. We really expected to come out on top of this. Thanks to my pitchers who did their part.
The Bahamas faces St. Martin tonight with a trip to the gold medal game on the line. Cuba faces the U.S. Virgin Islands in the other semifinal.
Prince Strawn and his Boise State Broncos are headed to the college football playoff. The number 10 Broncos defeated number 20 UNLV 21-7 to win the Old Trapper Mountain West Championship last night. Strawn finished with 2 catches for 18 yards. The Broncos finished the season 12-1, undefeated in conference play at 7-0. That makes it back-to-back Mountain West titles for the Broncos and 6 in program history. Boise State extended its winning streak to 11 games and finished the season with a perfect home record for the first time since 2019. The only loss of the season came in Week 2 against the number 1 ranked Oregon Ducks, 37-34. We'll find out Boise State's postseason fate tomorrow during the college football playoff selection show.
Both DeAndre Ayton and Buddy Hield struggled from the field, and their team struggled on the scoreboard in lopsided losses Friday night. Ayton scored 6 points and grabbed 4 rebounds in his Portland Trailblazers' 141-99 loss to the Utah Jazz. In Golden State, Hield scored 4 points in 13 minutes in the Warriors' 107-90 loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. You know, Bahamians love frontrunners, and Boise State's in the CFP. You think this means they have to actually learn where that is now?
They have a lot of potatoes, but we've been with Boise State all year.
Do they say go blue?
No.
Back to the studio.
Thanks so much for that. Well, on the other side of this break, meteorologist Ian McKinsey joins us from the Weather Center with a check on temperatures. Stick with us.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Thanks for sticking with us. Well, still a bit chilly on the outside, well, at least for me. Here now with a look at your weekend temperatures is meteorologist Ian McKinsey.
Thanks, Megan, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Saturday evening forecast. We're currently outside our studios under partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 72. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Feels like temperature the same at 72. Temperatures across the country, mainly mid-60s across Freeport, Marsh Harbor, Great Albuquerque, upper 60s, Allenstown 73, Nicholstown 71, Nassau 72, as well as Governor's Harbour, Eleuthera. In the central Bahamas, we have 73s in Camps Bay, 74 in Arthurstown, as well as Coburn Town in Salvador, a pair of 76s in Georgetown and in Deadman's Key, Long Island. The southeast Bahamas, we have 77s in Tonkin Town, as well as Abrahams Bay, Mayaguana, 75 in Colonel Hill, 76 in Delectable Bay, a pair of 78s in Matutang, Inagua, and Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. Satellite and radar imagery at this time, we have a building high pressure system in the wake of a front that's pretty much went through the capital and just sagging just south of the capital at this time. It should continue to push southeastwards and merge with a weak frontal boundary in the southeast Bahamas. Boarding forecast, that high pressure system will produce choppy seas across all areas, so we're looking at a caution in effect. Rip currents as well for you swimmers. Winds will be northeasterly 15 to 20 knots, seas running about 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. Expect a high tide at 12:40 a.m. in the morning with a low tide at 6:47 a.m. tomorrow morning as well. Across the country in your extended forecast, we're looking at pretty much favorable conditions. Rather, that is all courtesy of a building high pressure system in the wake of that front. So we're only getting up into the low 80s for most of the week. We expect another front to push through the area Thursday. Ahead of it, some showers, possible slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm, clearing out by Saturday. So we're looking at beautiful conditions for most of the week. Highs getting up into the low 80s, with your lows in the upper 60s, low 70s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
Thanks so much, Ian. 'Tis the season for fun, laughter, and family events. And thankfully, our Danielle Miller knows the perfect spot for it all. Let's take a look.
The holiday season is a time for Christmas parties, Christmas productions, shopping experiences, and the list goes on. Assistant Manager of Events Aisha Roll says the Nassau Cruise Port has curated a calendar of events to offer both guests and locals Christmas festivities for the entire family.
December 13th, we have our finale happy hour. So our Fuel Your Friday is coming to an end for the year. We have one in December, and that's December 13th. So we're really excited about that. That's going to be a packed lineup. We have Barry the Pusher, Pusher Jr., Selecta Ty, Selecta Treaty, DJ Tank, of course. We're just excited, man. We also are launching a new weekly event at the Gallery and Wine Bar. It's called Wine Down Wednesdays. It is a free event, and we are partnering with Bristol's on this event. It's going to be featuring a few different selections of wine weekly, and we are going to have live performers every night. So the 11th and the 18th are the 2 days we're doing it in December, and on those dates, Osano Neely will be our featured artist in-house.
And for the kids,
we have a lot in store this December. December 20th, we also have our Christmas movie night. So we have a Christmas movie marathon on December 20th. We're excited about that. More details are forthcoming.
For more information, you can visit the cruise port's social media pages. Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Sounds like a great time. Thanks so much, Danielle. And thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Hey guys, Megan Shepard here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.